Hello, everyone, and welcome back to twitch.tv/path to LCS, where we are in week 2, day 1 of Challengers action for LCS Challengers League. And guys, not a lot that we have to talk about in that little 5-minute break we had, because that was a little bit of a stomp coming out of Disguise against EGC.
I said that they were going to be like, I don't know, jalapeno, maybe habanero spicy. That was like ketchup spicy and ugh. Stings, man, that stings.
Real quick, go get the resident white person to tell us if that's actually spicy.
That was a milk-based latte of spice. That's what I'm going to go with. But hey, after that one, we do have someone that we do want to shout out from that game, and that was the person that played around his 3 winning lanes pretty damn well, Joshi, and that was Tomio.
Yeah, Tomio did a really good job going into the jungle a lot to make Shaden uncomfortable, and we just got to see, right, it was so much of the fact that the mechanics are what we have praised this player for in the past. We're able to make them come out to their fullest in a couple of their plays, and also grabbed every single dragon completely uncontested.
Yeah, honorable mention over to Fake God. He performed oh so well over on that top side, but of course, Tomio exponentiated that lead by grabbing not just first blood up there, but the first brick up there. So Tomio was definitely a big player in this game.
Yeah, I remember one of the co-streams last week, I believe Toast said that Fake God was only allowed to play Renekton. So I already want to congratulate Toast. He's doing a better job of drafting for his team than Reggie ever did. So good job, Toast. Well played. You know, we're going to get out of the spice with Disguise and dive into one of our favorite games that we have on the stream for our halftime segment. Ladies and gentlemen, that is none other than Pixel Perfect. As we get I'm imagining, you know, some fun game show music going through my head, hopefully going through your guys' headphones as well back home. Shout out to Rally Cry for helping us with the Rally Cry halftime show. But this time around, guys, Pixel Perfect. If you're not familiar with the game, our 2 casters, they get to pick a 16-bit, 8-bit, or 1-bit. It's going to be narrow images. They have to guess where it is in the game. They get points. The 1-bit is the hardest. Those are worth 3. 16-bit worth 1. And 8-bit, guess what? That's Goldilocks in the middle. It's just worth 2. Joshi, I know that we're both color casters usually. Therefore, I'm going to be biased against you, and that Desrex pick first.
Understandable. I think color casters have like a 90% win rate in this game.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Yeah. We're kind of the goats. So Desrex, pressure's on, man. What do you want to start with?
I've done the same joke every time we play this, so just give me the 16-bit. Let's go.
Oh, the 16-bit first. Okay, this is actually a little tricky. I'm going to be honest. All right, this is an image from the game.
This is?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Think about it. I'll give you one hint. It has to do with Rally Cry and a new ad that we have. it's a new addition. Yeah, I think Josh just figured it out.
Is this this is the gold graph?
Woo! Let's go,
right,
okay, This is the gold graph coming on in. Early game. Now,
we are pinching for pennies, Cubby.
Hey, you know what? I get to bully you guys a little bit in this seat, all right? So early game, we did have Disguise. They drafted winning lanes with the Renekton, the LeBlanc, and also that Xayah into the Yuumi lane paired up with the Rakan. Did a nice job at executing it, Joshi.
Yeah, I mean, really good stuff coming through, as you were bringing up. It is the way that Cloud9 won a lot of their games. It looks like something that they can continue to rely upon. If you just win the early game, like the rest of the game kind of doesn't matter, because you are as far ahead as we got to see it this time. But I do like that. It is something that I don't think we've seen before in Pixel Perfect, just not even using a game.
I've got some more fresh ones for you, but that is 1 point going over to Desrex, and Joshi, you have next pick of the draft.
All right, well, you know how we got to do it. Let's go for the 1-bits.
All right, 1-bit it is. The first 1-bit coming up. I'm going to give you the harder of the 2,
okay.
I think. All right.
Thank you, Cody. Thank you.
Here we go.
Let's see. Ooh, Tomio and level 8. What happened at level 8? I think that this is when Tomio was fighting Shaden and dove past the bottom lane turret in order to get the kill.
All right, well, I got to be honest. I don't have a soundboard ready to say no, because that one's wrong. So Desrex, you get a chance to steal. I'm going to give you a hint. Joshi pointed this out on cast. It is the bigger picture. You'll see what's up.
That's usually how this game works, yes.
Yes.
Pointed out on cast?
This is something he pointed out on cast that enabled something else that happened. You see the photo. If any guesses.
Oh, no.
There are 3 health bars in this. Josh missed one.
There are 3 health bars.
5.
Is this
4,
where they got
3.
the Rift Herald to get a second charge onto the Inner tower topside.
Ding, 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 ding,
Yes!
They couldn't kill Soul, who was trying to hit the eye, and that got them a second charge. Ended up being a nice part of snowballing the game forward. So that is 4 points for Deserex. And he gets next pick of the draft. What do you got?
That's not good. That's not good.
16-bit, baby.
16-bit 2. Here we go. All right, so this is actually new. What time of the game is this? Deserex gets to guess first. Josh, you also get a guess. Whoever's closer gets the point. What time of the game is this gold lead around?
This gold lead is around 10 minutes.
Okay, Josh.
I'm going to go 12 minutes.
That is closer to being correct. It is 12:20 when they actually took the upcoming dragon. That's right after they secured that. It's 4K gold lead. I'm trying to throw some more creative ones on you.
Two drakes.
Just want to remind you guys the 16 bits are dead. There is a 1-bit left and 2 8-bits, and it is 4-1 with Joshi having a chance to maybe tie if he wants the other one.
Yeah, let's see if we can catch up with the other 1-bit here.
All right, this one's hard.
Oh God! I thought you said really the other one was the hard one.
No, this one's really hard.
Let's see. What even is the yellow in this game?
I have a guess.
You have a guess.
I have a guess.
Purple, yellow. Let's see. Rakan, Yumi, Zaya, Blanc, Vi.
I'm gonna have to start counting down.
I don't even know what this yellow could be.
That's fine. You can rip off a guess here. I'm gonna give you 10 seconds to keep things moving.
I'm gonna guess that this is when Shaden just tried to attack Young up in the top lane and didn't even get his ult to land.
That is close, but not quite what I was looking for. So Deserex, you have a chance to steal.
This is when Shaden attacked the bottom lane and things...
All right, so this was the top lane attack. But what this was is that he got killed by the rip from the feathers. Because the rip, it's a little bit more range than the feather. Shaden got lost in the feathers just as you guys did there. So I guess you guys can't be pro players. You know, I
thought that was a Yumi.
You weren't able to spot that one as the feathers, the rip, Meech did find the kill in the back half. That opened up. Baron coming up.
Oh no!
8 bits are left. And I think Deserex has already secured it. He's at, or no, it's actually still 4-1. But Deserex, you have a chance to secure it if you get one of the 8 bits correct here. All right, 8-bit number 1.
This
Are you sure this isn't a 1-bit?
8-bit I've ever seen. Okay.
Deserex?
Did I get a hint on this one too?
First guess. No.
No hints.
I love the power I have.
You know what? As long as I waste time right now, I still win by default. No, it's the fountain.
5 seconds. 5 seconds.
It's the fountain. It's the fountain at the end game screen.
All right, no, that's wrong. Joshi.
Is this when Tomio makes the illegal move in the mid lane? And
nope, this is the double TP bot in the alcove. That's the
you gotta make it a little bit bigger. Come on.
Don't worry about it. Come on. I mean, I could have done the line going down. I didn't think about that, but wasn't quite able to snag that. Last one coming up. Deserex, you did secure it as Josh wasn't able to get it, but we have one more. Double charm. Deserex, you get first dibs on the guess.
I'm guessing this was a mid lane team fight. I do remember a charm that who did it land on? Okay, one is Zazel, one is Ryoma, if it's a double charm. I think it was in the mid lane.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the fight that ended up cracking open the Baron for DSG, as I figured that we'd end on a note where we were all charmed by what we just had in front of us with Pixel Perfect. As guys, thank you so much for participating. That was Pixel Perfect, and
it was different. It was a different Pixel Perfect.
It was,
and also the hardest 8-bits I've ever seen.
I tried to throw some curveballs in, have some fun with you guys, but unfortunately, I cannot be the third wheel for the game. We're gonna have to move forward, and it's just gonna be you two as we are ready to go to Game 2 draft. See if EGC can even up the series or DSG can take the 2-0 as Deserex, Joshi, all you.
Thank you to my favorite color caster and now Flex World Cubby for giving me my first win of Pixel Perfect against Josh. Let's go. Against you, at least. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
I think I've won one before. I don't know against who, but now that I got a dub against you, I'm just not going to let this go because Evil Geniuses are about to get 2-0'd, and I need something, bro.
You need something. You need something to come in today. I think The only time Colors ever lose that game is if we don't recognize what the 1-bit is, right? Because at that point it's like, oh no, all of our points are gone. How are we supposed to come back from this one? But as we do go back into game 2, it is DSG up 1-0 in the series, but you always got to play twice in all of these and see whether or not people can adapt. And so DSG not making a mistake of leaving the cat up, and so they are very rapidly becoming everybody's favorite team just by doing that.
I mean, last time it was the Zeri ban, so, you know, kind of a way to still keep that favoritism going, and they're going to ban away the NACL as well. Actually, yeah, they're becoming my favorite team. If the first ban was a Zeri, then right there, that's ban Exodia for Disguised, and they just auto-win.
We are already looking at a situation where Evil Geniuses have to decide whether or not they want to give up Emilio or whether or not they want to give up Zeri. And both these champions have been absolutely absurd on this patch. We've seen basically every team go for a first pick, and almost everybody having some great opportunities to do so. And Disguise now has their pick of the litter as both of these characters are available to them. And I'm kind of getting the sense that Zeyzal would have something cooked up for Emilio being alive, but instead, you know, just going to play it themselves.
Or maybe it's just Emilio. That's it. That's all it is. No, not the counter. He's just going to play it, man. He's just going to play it. That'll be the first pick for Disguise. That's going over to Zeyzal, Evil Geniuses Challengers. Curious what they're going to go for, because I want to see Shaden on something more comfortable. I did not like the Maokai. I would really like to see his Poppy finally get picked up once again, but it's something you got to go for a little bit later into the draft. As of the moment, they are going to grab the Aphelios. Vi would be a pretty good aggressive pick answer if they do want to lock this.
Yeah, I mean, it is something that Shaden has had more games on, and so far in this year is undefeated on it as well. 3 games and 0 losses so far. But it is definitely a spot where it does signal a lot about what it is that Evil Geniuses Challengers wants to do, right? We saw that when Shaden does not have a strong early game, he doesn't really have an opportunity to get back in the game, and now this is going to be a situation where Shaden has all the tools necessary to try and make that early game happen. And I'm also expecting, on the other side of this, we have seen a lot of Aries, a lot of Vi's in particular, a lot of Zayas come out as responses to the Vi, just because both these champions are so good at limiting what it is that the Vi can do.
Oh, all right, that's a little bit of a change-up coming out from Evil Geniuses Challengers. Smoothie's going to be playing the Blitzcrank, which will play a little bit more to this pick priority. You're not going to have as much peel for King this time. That's something you got to be concerned about. King's going to have to watch his positioning, especially if we do have this Zaya there. Those feathers can get that snare through. But in that regard, if you get a pick going, it can snowball out of control for Evil Geniuses with this Blitzcrank grab.
Yeah, I also want to point out that we have another brand new champion for... Oh, never mind. It just took me a while to find it. This is going to be the 10th game ever for Smoothie in their career as a Blitzcrank player, and they've been playing since Season 5 at the very least. And this is definitely a spot where they are going to be trying to bring this out to take care of Milo, because Milo, very, very oppressive in the bottom lane. You have so much extra range that you can play with. You have heals to play with as well, but you know what you can't do anything about? You can't do anything about getting hooked. And if either side does actually get taken away from the Blitzcrank hook, it sets up Disguise in a position where they are just going to be down a single member, and Smoothie can still run around and knock people up.
And there's definitely some fun ways you can use the ultimate of the Blitzcrank to try and deny a lot of what Disguise are going to do. If you start getting that chain of CC, just that silence can slightly delay the Lamb's Respite. It could delay the Zaya ultimate as well. So definitely some ways that Evil Geniuses Challengers can try and stop these anti-engage tools that Disguise have drafted. Now Evil Genius is going to go for the top side. Scion, once again, locking that in for Soul.
Yeah, and we are already setting ourselves up for a very interesting game, right? Because Disguise do have a range advantage so far, this is going to be a position where both sides are going to be lining up to go for sieges around the Baron or the Dragon or different turrets. You're not going to be doing a lot of damage to this front line in the Vi and the Scion so far. Instead, you either need to bring a lot more poke or bring some ways to get the game or get the fight started on your terms, or you can just do what they did last game and just pick such strong winning lanes that you have such a gold lead that it doesn't matter if you go for anything else like that. And right now, we are already finding ourselves in a position where even if the Ahri gets picked again, the skill matchup that we were looking at before, Cubby reminded me in the break that it's so much better now that you have access to the Lightning Carrot early on.
Now, the final lock-in is going to be that Syndra, so it plays more to that pick we were talking about. And Syndra, as well as Vi being together, you have a lot of mid-jungle presence just having that combo coming through, which is something to be excited about if you are Evil Genius's fan. If they want to get the ball rolling early, they do have the tools to get it.
Yeah, and this is definitely a game where we should be seeing more play coming out from Evil Genius's Challengers, right? One of the big things that we saw that put them behind so much in Game 1 was the fact that Tomio was able to constantly invade into Shane's part of the jungle, push him off his raptors, take him down in a couple of these different skirmishes. Now, Tomio can still try and go for that and trust himself to dodge out on the Vault Breaker with his own Q, and from that position, he should be able to win a lot of the interactions there, but it's not as easy as it was as the Vi into the Maokai. He's definitely more reliant on having some push coming out from Fake God and from Young.
Now, what do we think about the lane matchups right now? I still like things in favor of Disguised, and when Disguised have the better lanes, it does make it harder for Shaden to actually have an impact, because Tomio, as we saw last game, is very willing to exploit that.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome back! I thought that was my opportunity to take a sip, but I guess not.
We know you're thirsty, Josh.
Yeah, well, it was worth noting, though, that the Sion was one of the counter picks to Cassante, not necessarily because it was going to win the lane, but because it was not going to lose it super hard. And we also got to see that while the Renekton comes through and has to be really aggressive in order to find advantages against the Sion, Cassante has to be even more aggressive if they want to build a individual lead. And so that should be going in favor of Evil Geniuses, whereas on the other side of the map, if in the bottom lane, if nothing happens, Meech and Zazel will be in a fantastic position. It is on Smoothie as the coin flip champion here to try and find some of these hooks in the lane and later on in order to make DSG's composition more uncomfortable. And so it is still winning lanes for Disguise, but they aren't winning nearly as hard as they were in the first game.
Did notice very late leaves off the respawn coming out from EG. At the same time that Disguise were 5-stacking waiting for some EG shenanigans, none of them really going to come out at the time being as we start up this game. Game number 2 of Disguised versus Evil Genius's Challengers. Be sure to follow Path to LCS on Twitter and use the hashtag NACL. If you want some messages read on here, if you want to put your take, hot or cold, you know, we had some takes across the pre-show. Give us your takes as well. What do you think is going to happen with EG?
Yeah, and I'm also told that the best way to get your tweets on the broadcast is just compliment us. So, yeah, I'm just going to throw that one out as well. It worked for Beatdown and Summer, or Grapes and Summer last time around, and I think, you know, we got the same thing coming through. But as we take a look at where the junglers are going, it is going to be Shaden and Tomio on opposite sides of the map going for basically mirrored clears. And we have seen that last game, Tomio went for clearing his red side into an invade on the other side of the map. We'll see if he has the confidence to do it this time because, again, if you dodge a Vault Breaker, it's really good for Kindred. If you don't dodge a Vault Breaker, suddenly you're in a position where you can get run down with the red buff.
Now, Josh, I want to ask you, out of all these players right now, who has the most Riz?
Who has the most Riz?
Yeah.
I am going to guess. I have to look at all of them. Well, okay, Soul is not single, so I think that's a huge opportunity, but Tomio goes in.
Ooh, you know, flexing a little bit of that Riz in the jungle. Shaden says no, backs out. Yeah. Instead, doesn't want a piece of it. Tomio, just too sexy, man.
Too sexy. He comes through, goes for that big steal on some of the camps, and gets a lot of time off from Shaden as well. And now Shaden, I mean, you got to be really careful with your Vault Breaker usage, right? It is such a crucial part of your clear, especially to reset the aggro on some camps effectively. But, I mean, if it's down, then Tomio just gets a free opportunity to go for the fight. And now trading some vision with Ryoma, Tomio pushes him out. And then it asks the question, is Tomio just sitting around in one of these bushes to try and go for the re-invade on the blue? We know he's not. The Evil Geniuses don't know yet. They will figure it out when and if he shows on the ward in the mid lane.
They do have that ward there, so now spotting it out. Not sure if he got in range, if it should be in range.
They do
yeah,
now,
the pings just came out, so he is focusing onto the mid lane just now. Tomio trying to repeat what happened in game number 1 and just take early control of this jungle of Shaden. Now going for the double crab. Gonna miss the scatter of the week out of Ryoma, and that's retreat for Evil Geniuses.
Yeah, that's really good coming out for DSG, right? Getting both crabs. One of them is going to be the mark, and that stun not landing. We get to see that Ryoma and Shaden yet again trying to make plays together. This one just doesn't go in their favor, but we see in the top lane, small lead building up for Fake God should equalize. Young has a small lead in the bot lane as well, right? I haven't seen Smoothie go for a hook, and the fact he's on full mana says he probably hasn't thrown one out.
Now, Josh, I'm going to tell you what the right answer to my question was. It's Zeyzal. Zeyzal,
Okay.
maximum Riz.
Is
It's the beard, yes.
Beard? Okay.
Yes. Why do you have to even ask?
If we were
ask that
off
question?
broadcast, I would have different things to say, but now we see Shaden going down towards the bottom lane. He's completely catching them off guard.
You know, that's scaring me, Josh. Just as this Blitzcrank hook is scaring, disguised right onto Meech. Ooh, able to get a little bit of slow coming out from Zeyzal, but not going to stop the Vault Breaker. It will land onto Zeyzal, protecting Meech.
And that is going to be the ghost coming out from Meech and the heal from Zeyzal, but it's traded out for the same number of summoner spells on the far side of the map. And, I mean, we are seeing this is another opportunity where Shaden is not getting any of the ganks off early on in the game, and Evil Geniuses, we have heard that they were really struggling to come back mentally when they were finding themselves in tough positions last week. I'm expecting that we are in yet another similar situation where they are finding themselves in a tough position and will probably struggle to kind of bounce back unless Smoothie starts landing some of these hooks.
I guess we're just flipping coins now, Josh, to get Evil Geniuses
Yeah, we're just
back into
examining
this.
beards. At the same time.
There's nothing wrong with examining beards. You say it like it's a bad thing.
No, I'm just, you know.
In fact, losing a beard is a bad thing. That's why we need to shame Kangas more.
Ooh, all right. We can definitely go about it. He was, you know, spending the night over at our place, but now Fake God getting a lot of damage down on Soul. I do like the fact that he doesn't go for the ult just quite yet. Oh, here's a roam. Yeah.
Yeah, they're looking to find Smoothie. Smoothie forced to burn the flash to get away from Zeyzal and Tomio.
Good stuff coming out from the bottom lane of DSG to punish Smoothie for that roam. We have been seeing that Smoothie has kind of been struggling to make an impact up against Zeyzal so far. Even with, I believe, the one hook that we saw coming out in the gank, it hasn't had a lot of impact on the side of DSG. And, I mean, I feel like one of the big memes that we often talk about with Blitzcrank hooks is that the threat of the hook is oftentimes more important than actually trying to land the hook. And, I mean, Smoothie is definitely playing that to a big opportunity, trying to force Meech and Zeyzal into comfortable positions, but it doesn't feel as though the synergy from King and Smoothie is there to try and go for opportunities where they feel like they're strong enough to go for a fight.
And it's creating another situation where Disguise are going to have control this early game. They will grab the first Drake of the game. The more positive thing is there's more control of the map this time for Evil Geniuses. They're not just dying every single lane. Even just with the laning, with the way it was in game number 1, they are keeping even with the gold so far.
So far, but the big thing that we have to look at is Ryoma doing a much better job now in the mid lane, right? We were saying that the LeBlanc-Ari matchup has shifted quite a bit, but Young is still in a position where it's not as though they are falling super far behind. They're basically holding steady and will be in a position where they can kind of go for more fights later on. So much of this matchup is about who can have control of the vision later on in the game, and neither side has had an opportunity to really go for any plays around any objectives because Disguise just got it for free.
Pushing in the lane will be Disguised over in the bottom lane. Scarce if Tomio was going to go for an attack onto that lane, but not going to take it. Instead, going to path over towards the north end where you do have Rift Herald spawning quite soon. So junglers, both junglers looking to meet onto that side of the map.
And it's Smoothie moving and not Zeyzal this time around. And the Blitzcrank is really, really threatening from these kind of positions. And Zeyzal just now moving. But
They are.
as we see, not a whole lot of big plays. The one thing that we will pay attention to is the fact that Soul is completely out of mana up on the top side. And now Shaden and Smoothie spotted going up.
Ryoma burns the flash as Tomio waits for prey. Young gonna follow through, and this is gonna be first blood going over Disguise once again. Fight breaking out on the top side will go in Evil Genius's favor as Smoothie will even it out.
Yeah, Tomio gets the first blood, but up in the top side, there is going to be a counter kill that they pick up. They will get a large wave to crash into Fake God's turret that will not be collected. But now, at the end of it, it is leaving Meech completely unattended down here on the bottom side. This is actually a really good move coming out from Evil Geniuses, making sure that they allocate their lane such that they get everything. But if we take another look at this top side of the map, there is just enough mana for Soul to go for the ultimate. And then everybody else make sure that there's no opportunity for Fake God to dive onto anything, so they will reward themselves with a reptile because of it.
A good roam coming out from Smoothie. So he does have those boots of mobility as well, so going to be racing all over this map to try and find plays for Evil Geniuses. But this is what you've given up for making that play. It's a lot of gold to Meech, and Tomio goes for an invade. Oh, he's got to be careful about this one. Smoothie's right there, can pull him right back over the wall. Tomio's not on the angle, and with that, the rest of Disguise are able to show up and take down the Robo.
Wow, not enough damage from Evil Geniuses to even force the ultimate for Tomio for so much of that fight. Zazel shows up, gives him a little bit of a heal, keeps him alive. That's another kill going over to Tomio, and he's having a fantastic day so far. And this is definitely a spot where, I mean, I feel as though Tomio on Cloud9 Challengers really just kind of looked okay, which was not as much as a lot of people were hoping from a player who had so much going for them. They had 3 winning lanes, and this is a team where, yet again, they should be expecting to have 3 lanes that are doing quite well for most of the season. And I feel like we're already seeing Tomio having more success with this roster thus far than they did on Cloud9.
Yeah, I'm loving Tomio on Disguise. I mean, for Cloud9, yeah, regular season Tomio didn't look that good, but by the time we got to the finals, it felt like we got a more complete Tomio. That was one of the worries, right? Are we going to get that Tomio, or is he going to just kind of flounder back to the regular season? For the most part, he's still been performing incredibly well. Now Tomio looking to take that performance over towards the top side, where there's a little bit of threat on Fake God. Evil Geniuses posturing up.
Yeah. It is a blue buff going right on back over to Evil Geniuses. It doesn't look like there's likely to be a whole play here, as Shaden does hop over, and Tomio's like, oh, yep, they are hitting my frog.
It's my frog. Man, I love frogs. All right, Tomio chasing through. Hook gonna land right onto the money. They want to take him down before the Lamster Spite. It's not even off cooldown yet, so Tomio forced to burn the flash. Young double distorts in. Shaden tries to find Tomio, but instead gets a missile right to the face, and Tomio gonna give the lead over to Disguised.
I like the look, though, coming out from Shaden. Here's the ultimate.
Oh, a fight between our tanky, beefy boys over in the top lane. Soul gets pulled right back in. Fake God looking for more. We'll get the solo bolo against Soul.
And there you go. Fake God finally starting to build up that lead in the side lane. Even with the gank that Soul received earlier, it is going to be another kill going over to Fake God. But, I mean, we are seeing more life coming out from Evil Geniuses in this game 2 than in game 1. But at this point, you have a 3-0-0. Trinity Force completed Tomio from this position, and with the Dragon spawning here in a couple of seconds, DSG should be first to the punch.
Ryoma scatter the weak. Nice sidestep from Tomio.
Nice hook.
But a great hook from Smoothie to follow through. We'll still get that shutdown. A very well-needed shutdown for Ryoma.
And it also stops a lot of things that Disguise could have potentially done around the Dragon, right? With Tomio going down, that is a shutdown that they pick up onto Ryoma. Another player that we really need to see step up. Has not had the greatest start to the summer split, but as his top lane turret goes down, it's a lot of money going right onto into the hands of King.
That's what I want to see from Evil Geniuses. Get that gold onto your carry, as Ryoma was able to get that shutdown. King cashing in on those plates. Still going to take a while before King has that greater impact into the map, but getting gold onto him is a way to make sure that you're not going to fall to this early game of Disguised.
Yeah. So now we get to see whether or not Disguise can play from multiple different styles, right? We did see that in game 1. They just ran over the game, but this is going to be one of the tests for Zazel, right? We typically attribute most of their shot calls and most of their map movements to this guy because he's done it on so many teams before. We know they're very vocal. We know they love coordinating everything on the map. And while they do have some points of strength, it's not necessarily the same kind of control that they have had in previous moments. And now as Ryoma gets even more gold off of this structure, it is going to be a lot of money that Ryoma in particular has.
Brick does go down, first brick of the game for Evil Geniuses. Disguise trying to find one of their own over in this bottom lane, but they don't have a minion wave to work with as we take a look at the gold graphs. That is what you want to see from EGC. King and Ryoma at the top of them.
Yeah. I mean, these two Oceanic players have had so much success when they are strong, right? You're saying King, the winningest Oceanic player of all time, and Ryoma, a player who has consistently performed well when they have been playing here in the North American Challengers and previous Academy scenes, just because they are so good at being aggressive in ways a lot of other mid laners in the scene have not been able to replicate.
And what's that move called again? It's like the Mega Rapid Kick something.
I don't know.
Ultra
Melio
Rapid
Ball.
Kick. Melio Ball.
The knock-up/slow button.
Ultra Mega Fire Kick. That's the name of it. As now Young, a little bit of trouble right now. It's hard to get away from a Blitzcrank. Hook goes out. Young looking for the double distortion, but Cease and Desist will follow him through. Evil Geniuses pick up a lead.
Yeah. Tomio not able to chase them down effectively even with the extra range. That's going to be another pick getting picked up for Shaden and Ryoma. And that's really important coming out from the side of Evil Geniuses. And Smoothie as well, playing on this Blitzcrank, has actually landed a couple of clutch hooks. They found Tomio out before, they just find Young this time around, and it's giving them opportunities to play around the top side of the map because, I mean, they've had so much vision. It has fallen off now, but it is preventing a lot of pressure coming out from Tomio. They can't really play around the Rift Herald. They couldn't really play around the Dragon on the timers that they wanted to.
Fake God gonna buffer out of that Decimating Smash and get that turret down in the bottom lane. So something afforded right back over to Disguise. More income going on to Fake God. Soul has been struggling in that 1v1 matchup, but surviving much better, faring much better in this game too.
Yeah. Is this an opportunity here? Tomio still looks like he wants to play.
And Tomio's posturing up. He's looking for it. Scatter of the Weak. You got to watch out for that. Can pick you off at any given time. Tomio going to lose a third of his health in the process. Evil Geniuses are pulling back. This might cause a reset on the Rift Herald. As, yep, Shelly going to walk right on back to the Baron Pit.
Because it's a cannon wave, Evil Genius is not actually losing anything. They're able to walk on over and pick up all of the minions that they were fighting for. But Evil Geniuses, I mean, we are seeing a much better game 2 from them. It feels as though they are bouncing back from game 1 in ways that at least I was not really expecting them to be able to do.
Evil Geniuses grabbing the Rift Herald and getting themselves a slight gold lead, mostly even. Now coming off the respawn will be Disguised. Young posturing into the side, doesn't really want to take anything right here. Evil Geniuses, they've pretty much secured this Rift Herald. Now what can they do with it? Disguise are going to take a moment, knowing that Evil Geniuses are on that side of the map. Still away a mark for Tomio.
Yeah, it will be their 5th mark of the game. They've already gotten the first range increase for the day. That's all you really need on the Kindred. Everything else is just gravy, but they are coming out in force here in the mid lane, and Evil Geniuses a little bit slow to the response.
Ooh, Midlife Vigil goes out from King. It's a lot of damage onto Meech. He's starting to run low, but Disguise fancy themselves a fight. Soul puts down the Decimating Smash. Lamps Respite's going to be found. Meech hopping into it, waiting for the heal to come through. Cease and Desist onto the back line. Tomio's going to fall. Zazel in a world of hurt as the unleashed power from Ryoma finds him, but Fake God will slay Ryoma. And now the remaining members, 3 on the side of Disguised. Only 2 left for Evil Geniuses Challengers, as Evil Geniuses will take the retreat.
Honestly, that fight was looking kind of doomed for Disguise, so Fake God finding those kills at the end was huge. They commit super hard for this fight, but Fake God plays this so well, making sure that they can get onto every single target that they need to. And with all these low health bars, it looks like an opportunity for King to clean up, but the ultimate's coming out from Meech, keeps him alive, the backline scatters, and Fake God is just standing here in the middle of the fight with all the Omni Vamp that this character does receive when they are going all out, just allows him to pick up a couple of extra characters and the double kill at the end of it.
And even Shaden was running low. You needed that zombie mode of Soul to stop the fight for EGC, but Disguised taking over the map once again, this time in the mid game.
Yeah.
Evil Geniuses Challengers on the back foot.
They're also looking to play with a potential Ocean Soul if they can chain the next 2 dragons together. Disguise are on the map in force, but they're going towards the opposite side. Looks like they're going to be valuing the gold a lot more than potential Ocean Soul. It's the different kind of soul. As he is now trapped under his turret.
It's a tanky boy, though. Big thing here is he doesn't have much magic resist, so Young can do some pretty good damage. Same thing coming out for Tomio as he's just wailing away. Pew, 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 pew. Oh, gonna try and drift away around the turret. Hey, Soul's finding an escape.
Yeah, finds a way out. They trade the top lane turret for the one in the bottom lane. The Rift Herald still has opportunities to keep on going. That's an angle. And it's going to be Shade picking up the Ocean Dragon for Evil Geniuses as well. I mean, ultimately, EG come out way ahead on this play. And I feel like it's an odd read from the side of Disguised, right? I mean, the Ocean Dragon was something you could potentially chain into the last one. It works so well in conjunction with Kindred's ultimate. It works so well in conjunction with the ultimate from Milio to give you a team-wide cleanse, a team-wide heal, and a second team-wide heal at the same time, so you can be healing through all of the damage that is potentially going to be coming your way. But Disguised, instead, opting to pick up the turret on the top side of the map, open that up, and give Young a bit more freedom on the map to try and hunt in the shadows.
And part of that is why I liked Evil Genius's draft coming into this. Because while the Breath of Life can cleanse a lot of this crowd control, it's knockups that Evil Geniuses have kind of brought to this fight more so than anything else. And it's a little bit harder to deal with that. As so far, Disguise are still winning out in a lot of these trades, but Evil Geniuses are not going to be down just yet. Looking at the gold, and you're seeing quite a bit onto Ryoma, who did go 2-2-1 thus far, but also a bounty has been placed on the head of King. He did lane quite well, was able to collect quite a few of those turret plates from earlier over on the top side, as well as 2 items completed on this Aphelios.
Yeah. And with the game continuing to go longer, with more items getting completed onto King, it is becoming tougher and tougher for Disguise to try and take this one down cleanly. Their engage tools are not super obvious every single time, and so that puts a lot of pressure now on Young to be the one to try and find some off angles. But one of the things that Blitzcrank is really good at is threatening things who are trying to come in from off angles. If they are on vision, which you oftentimes just don't know, you just get hooked and your team loses the fight because suddenly the 4-man core not able to go for anything after the flanker does get picked up. So Young, love the fact they've already picked up the sweeper.
Smoothie would just need one hook, one legendary hook to bring us back into Evil Genius's favor. Evil Geniuses gain control of this blue side jungle of Disguised. They're putting the presence over there. Baron did spawn just about a minute ago, so just holding out vision control for Evil Geniuses. At the same time, though, you do have a split push that has not been met. Young crashing that wave into the tower.
It actually does reasonable damage now that they have the extra AD as well as the attack speed provided by the Static Shiv. Taking a lot of damage on this structure, and it's just now that Soul is coming around to say hello. I think this turret is just going to get picked up by Young here momentarily because of the extra range that they have.
Wow. Yeah, you can see Young's just bowling Soul over towards that top side and does take that turret down. An inner tower going in the bottom end, giving more gold over to this LeBlanc. 2 items completed on LeBlanc on top of that, so the carries for Disguise are going to start popping off. You're going to need a lot more vision control for Evil Geniuses because you don't want a LeBlanc distorting out of the Fog Boar and just taking King in the snap of a finger.
Yeah. That said, it takes more mana than Young has to kill Soul most of the time, so that's part of why we haven't been seeing them go for nearly as much. But as they hop over the wall, get the auto attack down, it just clears a wave immediately for Young. And there's not a whole lot that Soul can really do about it. Young can very cleanly push all of these waves in ways that doesn't require a lot of mana very safely, and it creates a lot of difficulties for Evil Geniuses to try and match it, because Soul is one of the main ways that Evil Geniuses can force a front-to-back team fight, which is the way that they want to be taking a lot of these fights. It's where King has excelled for all of his career.
And you're going to have Soul locked into that bottom lane while Young has much more presence on the map, has much more mobility to get to the places he needs to be. Even with the teleport, you want Soul to be there at the start of the fight, not at the end of it. Now here comes Tomio walking up to Smoothie, waiting for the Scout of the Week to go through. We'll find the stun onto Tomio. It's Disguise. Posture around this Baron side and start placing wards.
Yeah. They're just hitting at this point. Here comes a blue trinket to spot out exactly what they are doing, but Disguise asking questions of Evil Genius's fortitude at this point, asking if Smoothie backing away means that the rest of Evil Geniuses will as well.
Static Shiv is so silly, Josh. Every time I look at the mini-map and Young walks up to a wave, the wave is gone.
Yeah. And he's just punishing Soul, right? That's the other thing, right? I said he didn't have enough mana, but I guess he just has the auto attacks to do it. He's got the Sheen as well, building up towards the Lich Bane. Just buying more AP ratios at this point. And with 18 seconds on the next dragon, just pushing Soul off the structure, taking away his ultimate is a lot of engaged power that Evil Genius will not have if they want to go for a fight or if they want to go for a trade around the Baron.
There it is again. Young shoving in another wave over towards the bottom lane.
Oof.
Scout of the Week does land. That was quite a bit of burst onto Fake God there. Evil Genius is trying to hold position. They are going to send Soul into the mid wave. Does look like they want to try and make a play instead of letting Young just continue to backdoor them.
Oh. Smoothie also posturing very aggressively, but it is DSG with the opportunity to go for the dragon if they want it. And there you go, Young trading the inhibitor turret while the mid lane turret goes down for the first time. And Realma can try and make some of these fights happen, but his back is stopped.
Ooh, okay, Soul did get the back off, so he'll get to the bottom lane. Oh, a great hook coming out from Smoothie. Lamp's Respite comes out just in time for Tomio. He's able to hop back, but gets chased down by Shaden. Shaden fighting it out with Fake God. Meech able to get the better of the exchange. Going forward off the Gale Force. Will be King. Wants to chase down Meech. Smoothie in the back pocket will get the rocket grab to find the shutdown.
Oh, that's the cardinal sin coming up from Tomio. You never splash in a straight line like that against a Blitzcrank, and it is just going to be a couple of kills. Meech and Tomio are already down, but DSG, they still have 3 members. It looks like they still want to try and contest.
All right, teleport coming out. Looking to bring Young to the party. Fake God, both the solo laners of Disguised. Now standing around this Baron. Here comes Young. Got to watch for that Scout of the Week. Fake God gets caught out, stunned up. Rocket grab going to go through. Zazel still posturing up there. Doesn't have the breath of life to deny some of this crowd control. It's enough for Disguise to pull them off the Baron, but they don't want to lose any more members with this. Fake God steps out of the Decimating Smash. King still on the hunt. Brings the autos with the Chakrams flying, and Fake God, Slither of Health Remains, gets put into the dirt. Young distorts back over, and Evil Geniuses, they have been stopped from getting the Baron, but they'll still get a kill nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, just buying enough time there is going to be allowing King even more time to get to more and more items, and Evil Geniuses playing this one so much better. They got absolutely thrashed in game 1, but when they're pushing DSG into a position where they have to play more of this macro game, it feels as though Evil Geniuses is matching them as much as they can. Even with Young over in the side lanes over and over again, not enough split push pressure is being put down to prevent Evil Geniuses from lining up and fighting.
See right there, Tomio was pinging onto the red buff over on Evil Genius' side of the map. Not enough time. Not enough time. The recalls already came out. They saw the dragon go down. They know the recall timers off of that one would be a little bit too much of a risk, so just going to clear out the vision for the time being. And now it feels like we actually have a match on our hands, Josh.
Yeah, because, I mean, DSG are not in a position because they chose to give up Dragon 3 and now Dragon 4. Evil Geniuses have put such a huge stop on Disguised's ability to play for the Ocean Soul. And the Ocean Soul probably gives Meech and Tomio enough power to try and take the game from that position. But now we have all of our eyes are really going to be focused on Young and their ability to try and split push off in the side lane, right? They've already gotten multiple turrets on the bottom side of the map. They've opened up the inhibitor, but as long as the inhibitor is standing, that is not actual pressure. It's fake pressure being put off in the side lane. Young needs to be there to make things happen. His teleport's down.
Smoothie, Hex Flash over the wall. Not going to find anything. This time, Disguise are giving proper respect to Smoothie. If they get caught out with another rocket grab, that means Baron for Evil Geniuses, so they can't lose out on that. Young finishing up, clearing part of that wave to try and build a wave to crash into that inhibitor, will reconvene with the rest of Disguised.
It doesn't build the same way it used to years ago, and now we do see Young moving back over. They don't win this fight.
Still standing around it, though. Evil Geniuses posing a threat in the face of Disguised. Disguised, they take control of the mid lane, and they start heading over towards the mid lane tower. Deep Vision now being pressed by Disguised.
Yeah. It's also worth noting that Young has changed the red trinket to the blue trinket in order to get a bit more vision. And now Smoothie
doesn't want to take the hook on Fake God. That all-out could just drag Smoothie to damnation, so you got to be careful if you are going to grab that hook on the Fake God. Scout of the Week, going to miss.
Yeah. I mean, the big thing is just goes unstoppable, right? He's just like, haha, your hook does nothing. So Smoothie needs to try and bait the unstoppable so that Fake God cannot just be the one creating pressure there. But this little bit of an ARAM, like not a whole lot of pressure getting put either direction. Small win for DSG as they get the waves first, but now we do see the Baron getting started up, and we know that DSG know what's happening.
Ryoma waiting in the brush, does get spotted out by a Scry. AK health remains on this Baron. Fakeout's going to be the first one to posture up, leading Disguised, leading the charge for the squad. Oh, great hook coming out from Smoothie! Finds Zazel! Now you have your crowd control cleanse off of the map, and here comes Evil Geniuses, but Young looking to return fire. Tomio kiting it out against Soul, a little bit too low's Meech, so Disguise have to head for dodge. They have to head for the hills. They can't take this no more, and Evil Geniuses, they're going to fight right on back. Decimating Smash doesn't find Meech, able to return the feathers to try and take down Soul. Tomio still taking the long run here. Shaden's gonna have to make a hell of a chase to catch up to Tomio. Finally, Meech goes down, but cutting out the detour. It's an ace for Evil Geniuses.
And with Emilio going down first in that fight, DSG, they were already looking at a rough one. There's no way for them to turn this fight around. They just do not have the damage, but a great hook from Smoothie. Not throwing it at Fake God, throwing it at literally anybody else. And Young, I mean, he committed to trying to go for a split push. He comes in, he tries to find their way onto the side of the fight here, but they just don't have the damage. They're not even half health in King with the full combo from this position. DSG, by trying to have your cake and eat it too, have ended up with nothing.
2 mistakes back-to-back coming out from Disguise, and it's costing them big. Evil Geniuses are now finding their lead, Josh. They've just got the Baron, and even with their base in the state that it is, inhibitors are still up. They can still keep bringing this.
They can still keep bringing, yeah, exactly. And this has been the problem, right? DSG, they opted into trying to play a split push style early on in the game. They have not been able to make that work, and now, I mean, we're seeing Young, he's been multiple levels up over Ryoma, but there's no way for DSG to play when everything has lined up, and now Fake God is getting caught.
Oh, Fake God all by his lonesome. Unleashed Power goes out. Cease and desist to try and take down Fake God underneath the tower. Zazel's going to show up. Kick does come out from Zazel, stops any more advancements coming out from Shaden.
Young's top lane.
So it saves the life of Fake God. Now Young continuing the split push.
Yeah. He's got a Lich Bane as well at this point, so he does a lot of damage to these structures with the attack speed and the AP ratios. But, I mean, getting this turret, again, not providing you a whole lot of pressure. We have another dragon spawning here for Evil Geniuses that they will take uncontested, because the other crazy thing here, Eric, is it's not actually Fake God that's going to be the one who's able to split push in this game. It is Tomio. And if Tomio is going somewhere else to try and get all of these waves to push everything out and survive any attacks from Evil Geniuses, it means he's not going to be able to be at these objectives.
You need Tomio at the objectives, at the team fights as well. Lamps Respite is such a huge ultimate or team fighting paired along with the Emilio ultimate. I couldn't think about the name at the moment. It's the Breath of Life. But those two together, like, that is such a denial of what Evil Geniuses want to do. And if you rip that apart, if you take that away, at any point of a team fight, Disguise are going to lose so much, and Evil Geniuses can run away.
Yeah. As we start looking towards the end of this game, it is looking more and more likely as though Evil Geniuses will fight this series to a draw. Definitely a bigger look coming out for Evil Geniuses. Being able to even go even with Disguise was not something I think a lot of people were necessarily expecting, especially because of how volatile this team has been so far.
This turret just gets melted. Disguised. Looking for a defense right now, but it does look like they're going to let this inhibitor go down. They have Young onto the flank, onto the sidelines. Lots of summoners available over in the pocket for Evil Geniuses. Ryoma has a splash. King does not have his. Shaden trying to push away from Young. Young's able to battle back. And Tomio gets one pick onto Smoothie. Soul looking for that front line. Shaden goes forward and goes down. Disguised fight back.
Not like this, man. Not like this. They have Young. He's going for a TP flank.
Oh, no. Here comes Young, he spots out King.
Last of them.
King's gonna posture up forward and go after Young and chase him away. Soul still holding that line, but he can hold it for no longer. Meech will tear away at the wall that is Soul. Now Young distorts over the wall. King holding ground, but there's so much to give, and Ryoma doesn't want to give an inch back. Scout of the Week comes out, but he gets shut down. King is the only survivor left on the map for Evil Geniuses.
He's so strong, he can take all comers for a little while. He gets a turret as the only member of Evil Geniuses left on the map. I'm looking for Zazel too. Not going to find them, but still, A big, colossal mistake from Evil Geniuses gives Disguise another avenue back in, and ultimately, it's just Smoothie kind of getting caught here as the hook goes wide and they are able to put enough damage down. They are able to pick up the Blitzcrank, and from there, Evil Geniuses are not able to build a pocket for Ryoma and King. They have to be constantly fighting this delaying action to try and buy enough time for people to leave. As soon as they get corralled, as soon as they get stuck here in this corridor, we get to see exactly how powerful the Lambs Rush fight is. Tomio throws it down, and everybody on the team plays around the edge of it for as long as they can.
See how much of a threat King was in this fight. Even being the only survivor with 4 members of Disguised around him, it was really not worth taking the fight against King because he has been pretty fed. Only 1 item away from a full build up. There it is. Full build now complete for King.
There, he's got it. Yeah. It's also worth noting, right? Like, you have to think about LeBlanc super differently with this build, too. It's not just that they are getting more auto attack damage, but it's also that they are not bursting people nearly as hard. They're going to be going for chip damage. It's basically a poke champion. Kind of like, honestly, kind of like Zoe. It's why I consider these two characters very similar in a lot of the ways that they like to play historically. But Young, level 18, has 4 items completed, but it's also Tomio who's gotten 7 of his team's 13 kills at this point. In Disguise, they need to try and buy time for Young to create even more of a split push threat.
And take a look at the Dragons right now, Josh. 1 more for Dragon Soul for Evil Geniuses. You were talking about that damage not being bursty. It's just chip damage. Ocean Soul loves that, man. Now, here we go. Shaden looking for the engage onto Tomio. Smoothie goes in, misses the rocket grab. Shaden's in a world of trouble. Ooh, Revival going to come through from the Guardian Angel. Shaden only losing his Guardian Angel in the process. Young is in the base right now, going to break down one of the inhibitors. Evil Geniuses have to back off.
And that's the first real pressure that Young has gotten throughout this game. As the inhibitor does fall, Evil Geniuses needs to back away. There's a Baron spawning in 15 seconds. There's a Dragon spawning in 30 seconds. Either one of these could potentially win Evil Geniuses the game, but they gotta get to it. They've lost all opportunity to establish vision control.
Disguise, they go right over towards the Baron area. They get a little bit of that deep vision in, but the bigger objective is probably going to be that Dragon. Want to grab that because that would be Ocean Soul coming out for EGC once again. Disguised don't have that much burst, so Ocean Soul is still a good pickup for Evil Geniuses.
I'm shocked Smoothie doesn't throw out a hook there, right? If you grab one of those players, you have 4 people there, you have King with a completed build, that is an easy kill, but now you see Ryoma still off on the side, and DSG are the ones who think they can go for a fight.
Yeah, both of our mid laners are in the base of Evil Geniuses right now. Ryoma's just trying to stop this menace, this absolute pest that is Young. You gotta call an Exterminator, and you gotta call a heck of one, because Young is not stopping.
At the same time, Disguise not making a play for either the Dragon or the Baron just quite yet. They were looking for the fight, but Fake God taking a lot of chip damage as well. It doesn't have the same kind of way to heal up off of all of that, and now Disguise, they have a singular minion, and they think that that is enough to go for a push in the mid lane.
This is a very interesting call coming out from Disguised. They were thinking about the mid lane push, but instantly peeled back. Nice sidestep from Fake God. Will not get caught by the rocket grab. Tomio can flip this on the smite, but it does look like the fight is what we're going to get instead. Now looking for the catch out onto Fake God. Fake God able to create some space, create some distance. Both mid laners still in the base of Evil Geniuses. Ryoma having to deal with that. 4K health remains on the Baron. Tomio's not going to get there in time. Baron goes down. It's over to Evil Geniuses.
But the turrets are going down. We see a teleport coming through, and they have to stop the backs.
Oh,
it's a 2v1 in the base.
Goodness gracious. Here we go. Disguised. Looking for more. Ryoma's able to push them away. Fake God trying to get these inhibitor towers, these Nexus towers to go down. But this is a big plus right now as Ryoma does have that Baron buff. And will be able to have some extra defense with these minions.
And Disguise, they will at least get a small respite here in the fact that they are going to be picking up the Ocean Dragon. It's not the Ocean Soul just quite yet, but that means that Evil Geniuses can't play for it either. But now, Evil Geniuses, we were saying from the very beginning, they're in a position where they will be better in a lot of these sieges. They can go fishing for Smoothie's hooks. Shaden, whenever he feels the time is right, can just throw out the ultimate to try and take down members of DSG. And Disguised, they haven't had a whole lot of success from this position trying to find different flanks, but at least right now, Soul is very far, and Young doesn't have a flank. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
So damn fast King destroyed that tower. does not belong here. This land now belongs to King. Disguise wants to change that as Fake God goes in onto King, but King is unstoppable. Still standing, still throwing down the chakrams. It's red-white, it's time to fight. Soul comes in, able to get the knock-up right through, and Zazel gets cleaned up by Shaden. Young trying his damnedest to save this in the name of Disguise Toast, but Evil Geniuses have finally found their fight. Well, we asked at the start of this, what is the temperature of Evil Geniuses, Dosh? Well, it just pulled out the thermometer, and guess what? It said Cubby was right. We're looking a little bit lukewarm, but hey, they were able to get a game to win to tie this up, Josh.
Wow, what a play coming through at the end. And Young doing everything they could to try and go for all these split pushing advantages, but at the end of it, it's still Evil Geniuses standing tall. King seems like they might be the missing piece necessary to make this team work. Standing tall, not dying a single time. We criticized them last game for doing the least damage in the game. Well, they did a little bit better this time around and pull it right on back in. 40,000 damage coming through from this Aphilos, just consistently able to auto attack throughout every fight. And there was actually a lot of pressure towards him. It's not just him getting a free fight, he gets to do it all on his own.
Yeah, and you know, it doesn't hurt that you made it all the way to 6 items on Aphelios as well. So, I mean, King, the damage he output in that final fight was absolutely... it was too much for Disguise to handle, to put it straightforward. I mean, he just decimated health bars left and right, and that led to Evil Geniuses evening this out with a tie. We are going to take a moment to throw up a short break because Cubby has an interview for us with one of our winners from Evil Geniuses.
Has this ever happened to you? What about this? As gamers, these sorts of things happen all the time, which is why we made LCS Challengers League emotes. Impress your friends. Stop sucking. Make better choices.
Since subscribing to LCS_Challengers, my confidence has never been higher.
And with 3 easy clicks, yours can too! Plus, you'll be directly supporting the players in the league.
So what are you waiting for? Come join us!
Hey you! Do you want to support NA League of Legends? Do you want custom emotes to spam in chat? Do you want to wake up and taste freedom? Sub to twitch.tv/LCS_Challengers to salute the players and the flag!
Oh, Destructs, wait, what about the Canadian players?
Heck yeah, they're in too! Anyone can!
I'm doing my part. I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part, and you can too! Sub to twitch.tv/LCS_Challengers to salute the players and the flag!
Hello folks, we're back with the victorious mid laner of Evil Geniuses Challengers and Ryoma. And Tommy, I want to start right at the end of that game too. You hit a massive 4-man scatter to make sure that King didn't go too far into the enemy team and was able to stay alive. What was kind of going through your guys' head there in that late game as you were trying to deal with this new split push LeBlanc build and find the win?
I mean, I invested in solo queue, you know, just like the LeBlanc static shiv, you know, it's kind of like a popular thing right now. It's just like, you know, you get a lot of prio really fast in timers, but I think you end up like a little bit weaker than normal just because you're missing an item. But you know, those timers are really important. But I guess for the scout of the week, I mean, I was just watching Calvin. I'm like, shit, he might be kind of cool here. And I was like, I'll prep my ball, and then I prepped both balls, and I was just ready to, you know, stun, you know, both targets. Cassante being one and Zaya being the other.
Yeah, I mean, you were able to save Kelvin, King, who of course it has been able to step in now with you guys full time. Someone that you've got to be familiar with from your time in just Academy, but also going way back to the Oceanica region as well. What's it like having him on your team and as a teammate this time around?
I mean, it's been actually, I'd say, long time coming. I guess I knew there was gonna be a time eventually where I feel like we're gonna play just because of how we met and stuff. I mean, I met him a long time before I was even a pro, and we were friends. So it's a little bit nice that I got a chance to play with him. I guess it just just didn't plan out how we wanted it to work out and stuff. But I'm pretty happy playing with him. I think our season is looking much better than it was last split, and I just think we're just a lot stronger in general now.
I think you guys are off to a good start so far, and I know one of the things we've really been talking about is how these were the 5 players that we were hoping to see in spring. Of course, unfortunately, King's visa was a little bit delayed, but you have him now. So you say that things are a little bit stronger. What do you kind of credit, besides all you guys just being here and being able to play from the start, as some things that have made you guys feel a little bit stronger going into this split?
I'd say there's a lot of factors. I just think there's a lot on the line for a lot of us, especially for myself. I still want to achieve the things I want to achieve, as it goes for the other players on my team. I guess for us, it's like we also have now Shaden, subbing in for LCS, getting a lot of time there, more experience, having more confidence in what he has to say, rather than, I guess, kind of last split it was more overshadowed. Not overshadowed, but just a lot of the things was there was not enough experience. But now that he's playing with the main team, he has say a lot more picks he's comfortable with, and just how the game should just be played in general, which I think helps us too. And we're all just trying to find a way to play together, I guess, because LCS Academy is kind of different, but we're all just trying to find how we want to play and how we want to play together.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be coming together rather nicely. I think that, for me, King has been a really big standout for you guys. It was good to see you step up in the back half of that game as well. But you mentioned that Shaden, hovering in some of the LCS scrims too, picking up confidence. What's that relationship been like as someone that has a lot more years under your belt and kind of helping Shaden, who is one of the freshest players on your team, kind of pick things up?
I mean, I think Shaden's probably the highest mechanical jungler, I'd say, in the league. I mean, it's kind of my opinion, but I think he has the most potential out of everyone. He has... Now, I think it's only going to get more dangerous for the other players just because he's getting more experience. I think with me, I've kind of had a lot of experience, helping younger players like Ken V. I've had a lot of just experience helping these junglers, and I think he's in the right direction, I'd say. I think he just knows the right angles that he's looking for right now. I feel like last bit it was kind of I'm just going to go here, just going to send it, but there's a lot more thought now, and there's a lot of, I guess, reason why he's engaging and all that stuff now. It's a lot of stuff. I think he picked up Vi pretty recently. It was one of our weakest champs at last split, but not to say his Vi was bad. It was just that champ isn't very easy to play, I'd say, and I think now he's looked a lot better on Vi.
He played it twice last split, and it's looked a lot better the 2 times that he's played it this split. I can speak a little bit more for you there, the teammate. But when it comes to the rest of this week, of course, you got 2 more matches going up against Fear and FlyC. Are there any teams or mid laners in particular that you're kind of looking out for this split, or you want to go up against?
I guess Spyrax is always interesting to verse. Last time we matched around and didn't look too hot for him, but it was fun. I mean, always good versing the mid laners that I've versed previously, always got that little bit of those memories that you work with.
Oh yeah, I can still go back to when I remember the first time you went up against FlyQuest and Spyrax. I believe you solo killed him as Akali and Yasuo and kind of ran that game. Or it was that or vice versa way back when you were on GG for that split. But
yeah, that was the GGS one.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Hopefully, you're able to pull that off when you face them on Monday. But Ryoma, that's going to be it for us. Before I let you go, any words or anything that you want to leave with your fans or followers?
Shout out to the EG fans, I'd say it's been quite a run, I guess, so far. Well, I think the second split's going pretty well, I'd say. We got our full roster, and I feel like we still have a lot more to show. I would just say potential-wise. I would say we definitely have the most potential. A lot of people are kind of underlooking us, but me, I feel like I've always produced results rather than last split. But just thank you to everyone that's been supporting their journey, and looking forward to playing the next matches.
Yeah, I'm excited to see you guys continue to play as well, as I think a 1-1 split against Disguised, a rather respectable result against another team that we expect to be high up in the standings for Challengers. As Tommy, Rymo, thanks so much for your time, man. Always good to catch up with you.
Thank you.
We're going to be back with more action after a quick break as we have Team Fish Taco against Wildcard coming on up.